Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the New Flame Sports Podcast. Yes, I know it's been a while. There's been a lot of stuff going on. My family just recently has gone through a move, so we had to pack all the stuff, then move down, then get settled. So I hope you guys understand, and I hope those little shorts that we were uploading made up for the made up over recently. But today we got the MLB Trade Deadline special. I've got around, it looks like 12 or so notes here that I'm going to talk about. Some of the bigger trades like Max Scherzer, and then some of those like smaller ones like the Diego Castillo trade to the Mariners. But overall, this was a very active trade deadline, and if you were like starting to become a baseball fan this year, trying to get into baseball this year, what a great time to do it. This trade deadline was probably the most active that I've ever seen, especially more than last year, just because the fact that a lot of teams didn't want to trade, on the risk of maybe they had COVID, then they're going to bring it over here. But this year, with that not being as big of a threat or issue as it was than last year, a lot more activity at the deadline, and you saw a lot of pitching get traded just because after last year there was only 60 games. Pitchers only started 12, 13 games in the regular season versus I don't know, like 20 season start this in a regular season. So a lot of teams that are contending need as much pitching as they can get it. So even though a lot of the trades here are hitters, there were a lot more smaller pitcher trades. Like we saw J.A. Happ go to the Cardinals, I believe, and John Lester go to the Cardinals. I know that one. But you just saw a lot of smaller pitching trades that, aren't going to be the most talked about, like the Max Scherzer to the Dodgers of the world. But a lot of pitching getting traded, a lot of lower level pitching getting traded, and a lot of big bats getting traded. Starting off, the one that I mentioned earlier, probably the smallest of the trades that I have on my list, but still an impact player that the Mariners are getting out of the bullpen, Diego Castillo from the Rays. And for the Mariners, they get a great bullpen arm to replace Kendall Graveman. They thought that they were getting an alright one with Joe Smith from the Kendall Graveman trade, but this is their Graveman replacement. Castillo has been fantastic this year for the Rays, working out of the closer job, working out of the closer role, I meant. Sometimes not. With that Rays bullpen, you never know what people are going to be doing. But Castillo has had a great year, a 2.65 ERA, 49 strikeouts, under a 1 whip, 14 saves on the year. So not as good as last year where he only had a 1.66 ERA, but still 2.65 is really solid for the Mariners, and the fact that they were able to get that for not a lot, just is pretty good for the Mariners. And for a team that started to get hot by the deadline, a lot of people thinking that, they would go out and trade for Whit Merrifield. There were sources saying that they were trying to do that. They didn't do that, of course, but they got Diego Castillo from the Rays, who is a fantastic bullpen arm, probably top 10 reliever in the game. You could make the argument, I don't know, he just doesn't have the same name recognition as a guy like Josh Hader, Aroldis Chapman. I'm trying to think who else here. I'm trying to think like other top end relievers, Liam Hendriks, someone like that. So I mean, Diego Castillo is still a really good player for the Mariners that they're gonna get. Moving on, Padres get also second baseman, corner outfielder from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Adam Frazier, high contact guy, led the league in hits at the trade deadline. And since coming over to the Padres, he came over a couple days before, I want to say like that Tuesday. And since he had not been playing well, I think only like 3 for something, like 3 for 16 or something, not up to the standards that he had set earlier in the season. So obviously for the Padres, maybe it's just going to take a little bit of time for him to get used to the ballpark, this or that. PNC Park is not the most hitter-friendly park stadium, but it definitely has those advantages with the short walls and left. Short, I meant height, not distance from home plate. But then obviously not in that mini triples alley that they have out there. But back to the point, Adam Frazier, we know he's a great player as he made the All-Star team this year. I think that Adam Frazier will eventually just get it going for the Padres, whether that takes a week, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Come playoff time, Adam Frazier will be back to leading the league in hits, doing what he does, hitting for 330, and not the biggest power guy, but, maybe I think San Diego has a shorter fence in right field for Adam Frazier than PNC Park, but I really wanted the Yankees to get Adam Frazier. Like, he's just a perfect fit for Yankee Stadium, honestly. Like, short porch and right, power numbers would go up, which means those are still hits, helps his batting average, you know. But, moving on, the A's get Sterling Marte, and the return that the Marlins got from a lot of A's fans will be like, is it really worth it? They got the A's get Sterling Marte in return for Jesus Luzardo, and Luzardo, who came up with the A's, I think in 2018 or 2019, had that electric postseason. I think you only allowed like 3 earned runs or something like that through 2 rounds of the playoffs. Everyone thought he was going to be really, really good. Came out the next year, not as good. I think his ERA got up to the 5, the 6s, something like that. So safe to say that he has not had the best regular season stats, but for a guy that was an A's top 5 prospect at a time, I think the Marlins, with that just horrible farm system, I think they just needed anything for Sterling Marte, who was going to leave in free agency this year without a doubt. So it's kind of like, it will get as much as we can, even though he hasn't proven himself yet. We know the talent's there. We know how good of a player he can be. So let's just see if he can do that, if he can reach that talent that we've seen before in the minors. And for the A's getting Sterling Marte, they help out that outfield who, outside of like Liriano, and I think Mark Canha plays out there, like their offensive outfield is alright. I mean, Liriano's a high, like 280 hitter, not a huge power guy. No, I mean, obviously known for his defense and his cannon of an arm. And then Mark Canha is an alright, probably a above average hitter is what I'm trying to say here, but you get Sterling Marte, who provides a lot of speed for that team, a team that doesn't really have that much. He provides great defense, whether he's going to be playing left or right, because obviously no one's taking Liriano's job in center. You can make the case that Liriano is the best defending center fielder in the game, so Marte obviously is not going to be playing center field, but either left or right provides great defense, great speed, steals a lot of bases. Him and Jazz Chisholm at the beginning of the season, when Jazz was healthy, were going off with the stolen bases. And, but, I mean, Sterling Marte is just a great player. Pirates to the Diamondbacks, now to the Marlins, now to the A's. Just a really quality player that the A's are getting, definitely going to help them with their postseason push. Moving on, one of the first deadline moves that we saw actually a day or two before the deadline, the Brewers getting Eduardo Escobar from the Diamondbacks, and for the Brewers, I think this makes them a lock for the NL Central. At the beginning of the year, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the Cardinals got this division on lockdown." Brewers said, "Hold up, wait a minute." Like, their pitching is so good. Devin Williams, Josh Hader. Devin Williams not in the best year, but still, we saw the talent last year. They got him, Josh Hader, Freddie Peralta, who just decided to have a fantastic year. Corbin Burns is amazing. Brandon Woodruff is fantastic. And the fact that they can add to that, I mean, I don't want to say subpar, but, right around average, maybe slightly above average offense for the Brewers. The fact that they can add a big power bat, a guy that can play second or third, probably will be playing third. It could do some second, just because Colton Wong, you maybe move him around a little bit. But mostly going to be playing third for the Brewers here, Eduardo Escobar. High power, like I said. He doesn't have the highest of averages, but drives in a lot of runs for a team that, on the Diamondbacks, does not have a good offense. You have not had arguably your best player all year, almost, Ketel Marte, and yet he still is driving in runs for that team. I think I think Eduardo Escobar is hitting around like 240, something like that. But like, still, I still think Eduardo, yeah, 247. But Eduardo Escobar with 66 RBIs and I think it was like 23 homers. Yeah, 23 homers. I think he'll have a lot of fun hitting in Milwaukee, and I think Milwaukee has this division on lockdown, especially once Christian Yelich comes back from the COVID IL. Maybe, back when the All-Star break, he wasn't elected to the All-Star game, obviously, and he said that he did not look at a baseball during the All-Star break. He came back swinging and swinging like good, like the MVP Christian Yelich that we know. So I definitely think that with Eduardo Escobar, Christian Yelich coming back from COVID, I'm trying to think. Omar Narvaez, Colton Wong providing a decent little bat out of the leadoff spot. I would have liked to see the Brewers get one more bat, maybe another outfield bat, maybe a middle infield bat. Oh wait, no, I forgot. Willie Adames is having a really good year. So you look at that infield. 3/4 of it is really good. They just need to figure out that first base spot. And between Rowdy Tellez and Keston Hiura, it's not been the best, to say the least. But would like to see them get a first baseman type player, but unfortunately not. But I still think they have the division on lockdown. Moving on, Kyle Schwarber is going to the Red Sox. Now, this dude, we all remember, he had the monster month of June. Got single-handedly that month got him into the All-Star game. So, I mean, there's that. But to the Red Sox, I feel like every team in the AL East needs a left-handed bat. You look at the Yankees, obviously, they're like everyone was saying they needed a left-handed bat. Blue Jays, they could use one. Red Sox, they could use one. Rays, they could even use a left-handed power bat. Orioles, I mean, there's not much to talk about there. But sure, they could use a left-handed batter. But Kyle Schwarber to the Red Sox, I just think that that's a great fit. A lot of people are saying he might be playing first base because they traded away Michael Chavis, which I had no clue until I was just scrolling through, looking at all the deadline deals. But Michael Chavis is gone. Bobby Dahlbeck has not been good at all. Unlike last year when he came up, he was a monster. I picked him up for my fantasy team. Ooh, single-handedly got me into second place last year. But that first base job has been open for competition all year, and I think if Schwarber can just learn how to play the position all right with that offense, it's a no-brainer that he'll be starting in at first base, because obviously he can't be playing he can't DH because that's JD Martinez's job, and you can't afford to stick his glove out in the outfield. I know that's what the Nationals were doing and the Cubs, but he's not a good defender, and sticking him at first, you can hide the fact that he's a bad defender and still get his bat in the lineup. So Schwarber to the Red Sox from the Nationals, a part of their complete meltdown. They traded Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Brad Hand, Daniel Hudson, Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison. Who else did they trade? I think that's it. Oh, Brad Hand, if I didn't say that. So Soto, poor Juan Soto is like, well, thanks guys. That's got to be fun for him. Moving on, the Braves make 4 deals right at the deadline. 2 of them I had no clue about. Starting off with the 2 that I made the video about earlier, Adam Duvall and Eddie Rosario. Not much to talk about there. A right-handed bat and a left-handed bat. Duvall, in his Braves debut, I say with air quotes because it's not really a debut with the team because he was there last year. But you know what I'm trying to say. In his first game with the team this year, I think he had 2 hits or something like that. So he has not missed a beat with that team. I guess he just really likes playing at Truist Park and being with the Braves. Eddie Rosario is hurt right now, so he'll be coming back, I think, within the next month, I think. And then the 2 that I had no clue that happened were Jorge Soler from the Braves, just an absolute tank right there of a guy. Hits absolute missiles, home runs, just they go so far, he's so strong. No, he does not play a good outfield at all, so he will likely be coming off the bench and pinch hitting opportunities for guys like Tuki Toussaint, Charlie Morton, Max Fried, even though Max Fried can hit a little bit, but I'd rather have Soler than Max Fried up there. You know what I'm trying to say. He'll be coming off the bench. He's a bench bat for the Braves. And then Richard Rodriguez from the Pirates. I really like Richard Rodriguez. He's been as good, if not better, than Craig Kimbrell. Nah, I'm not going to say he's been better. He's been just... Yeah, he's almost been as good as Craig Kimbrell, and Kimbrell is obviously the main guy that everyone was looking at closer this deadline, but the Braves get Richard Rodriguez for a significantly less price than the White Sox got Kimbrell, so the fact that you can get a top-tier closer for such little for the Braves, and that bullpen has not been good. And, I mean, it's been alright. They've got, I mean, Will Smith has had his implosions every now and again, but overall, I think the Braves got better this deadline, and I think they got a lot better. Will they have the same level of play from all of the guys that they traded for, Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall, and Eddie Rosario, as Ronald Acuna Jr. might have? I don't know. Will they have the same level of defense? Absolutely not. Will they have the same power level of offense? Maybe in the power department, but not in, you know, like the average in steals. So I think Ronald Acuna Jr. is one of those just you cannot replace him type guys, and the Braves are trying to replace him the best that they can, and I honestly think they did a really good job with replacing Acuna with the injury. So I think Adam Duvall, I think he's a free agent at the end of this year. I would think that, especially if Duvall just starts hitting again like he did last year, I don't see why the Braves wouldn't sign him. Eddie Rosario is also a free agent at the end of the year, and I believe Soler and Richard Rodriguez are all three free agents as well. But moving on, looking here, Rays making a couple of deals at the deadline. These were both in the same day, within a couple hours of each other, really. First, they receive a really old guy in Nelson Cruz from the Tampa Bay Rays for practically nothing. In his first game in the Rays uniform, hits a home run, but a couple hours after they acquire Nelson Cruz, they trade away another really old guy, Rich Hill, to the New York Mets for. I mean, they did not. I mean, the Mets did not have to give up that much, so. But, I mean, Rays, I think overall they got better. They also got Shawn Armstrong from the Royals, who's an alright. I mean, he's not the best. He's not the worst. He's pretty close. But, you know what I'm trying to say. Shawn Armstrong is alright. But, back to the point, Nelson Cruz to the Tampa Bay Rays. Overall, just a lot of the things with Minnesota was that, yes, Nelson Cruz has a lot of home runs, but he doesn't drive in a whole lot of, or he wasn't this year at least, just because no one was getting on base for him. So, and now with the Rays, that's a team that's very, like, contact-oriented, get on base any way you can type team. So for Nelson Cruz, that's just a plug-in at your DH spot. Have Austin Meadows play in the outfield. With the bat of Nelson Cruz, I think that's worth it, sticking a subpar fielder out there just because you have Nelson Cruz. Moving on, the Blue Jays make a couple of trades to get some arms. They get Jose Barrios from the Twins and then Brad Hand from the Nationals. Like I said, Nationals did a complete teardown. Brad Hand has been alright this season for the Nationals. Not too bad, not the best. 3.5 ERA, you know, you'd want that to be a little bit better. You know, his numbers are inflated from what they were last year, where he posted a 2 ERA in 22 innings. But I think Brad Hand, just with the team, I think when he comes in, he's going to have a lot larger leads than he did with the Nationals, just because the Blue Jays offense is so good. And then the fact that they just added more pitching at the deadline just does not hurt them at all. So I think Brad Hand, you'll see that pressure start to come off him, as, you know, like, instead of having a 1-run lead, he might have, you know, like a 3-4-run lead, which, you know, all relievers would love to have. So Brad Hand, not a bad arm for them at all. And then Jose Barrios, boy, did they give up a lot to get this man. And, like, he's having an alright season, but just the seasons that he's had before, last year a 4 ERA, this year a 3.5 ERA, just yes, he's shown flashes that he can be good in 2019, 2018, and I think even a little bit in 2017. But just Jose Barrios is not worth your like third ranked prospect and your fifth ranked prospect or whatever it was. It just doesn't make any sense for the Blue Jays to trade that much to get a guy that's only going to be there for one, maybe another year after this. If he isn't good and you just trade away two top prospects for him and they turn out to be amazing for the Twins, well, everyone's saying like, oh yeah, he's gonna be so good with the Blue Jays. Well, not if those two prospects turn out to be like the best Twins of all time. Not even that. Even if they turn out to be like just better than what Jose Barrios is, because I somewhat buy into Jose Barrios being a good pitcher. He's shown it, but at also times he's shown being really bad. I can remember a stretch in 2019 where he was just awful. I think it was like start of August to like I think the entire month of August in 2019 was really bad for him. So I mean, Jose Barrios, he can be good. It's just if he wants to be. So it is that with him. So, but overall the Blue Jays got better, but at what cost? Because you didn't trade anyone in the majors already. So, moving on. Let's talk about the Yankees. Obviously, they needed left-handed bats, left-handed power bats, whatever. They just needed left-handers in the bullpen and the pitching, and that's what they got. They made more than three, but three notable deadline moves. They got Joey Gallo, first of all, that's massive. Anthony Rizzo, another big deal. And they also traded for Andrew Heaney from the Angels. And yes, we gave up a premium for Joey Gallo, who is good. He is a good player. Like, Joey Gallo in a Yankees uniform, I cannot wait until he plays at Yankee Stadium for the first time. He's going to look at that right field fence. He's going to be like, I wonder how many rows deep I can hit the ball. It's probably going to be like 100. I bet that man can hit a ball 100 rows back at Yankee Stadium. He's so powerful, and the fact that he plays good defense as well. You see so many power guys, like I was talking about earlier. Nelson Cruz obviously cannot play the outfield at all, but Kyle Schwarber, like I was saying, Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall, they're not the best defenders, but they make up for it with their bat. Joey Gallo is an amazing fielder. He won Gold Glove last year in Texas, and I don't see why he can't do it again if he, plays every day. And then we also go out and get Anthony Rizzo, who two prospects, I think Kevin Alcantara and something Vizcaino, something like that. But Anthony Rizzo in his first Yankee game, third at bat, hits a home run that started our offense. And even today, I think he got on base for a Rougned Odor single to score him. So Rizzo already making an impact with the Yankees. Obviously, can't wear number 44. He's wearing number 48. Just something about Rizzo just does not look great in the Yankees. Probably because we've all been used to seeing him in the Cubs uniform. Seeing him in a different uniform is weird. Like, seeing Max Scherzer in a Dodgers uniform is gonna get weird. Chris Bryant in a Giants uniform. I'm getting chills just thinking about that one. That's weird, man. And then Andrew Heaney has not had the best season of his career, but there are times here and there you're like, oh, I really like that part of Andrew Heaney, and then just a couple games later, he's horrible again. So, Andrew Heaney's kind of inconsistent, so if he can find a way to stay consistent, stay, a middle back end of the rotation, a 4 or 5 type guy, and the fact that we're getting Kluber back, we're getting Severino back, all in August or September, just really I really like the fact, and Taillon has pitched really well in the past, 3 or 4 starts. His ERA went from 5.23 to 4.3 in a matter of 4 starts. So Taillon has been really good lately, and just hope he can continued to do that down the stretch. But Rizzo, Gallo, and Heaney, all pretty good moves by us, and we didn't give up any top 5 prospects or anything like that. We kept Oswald Peraza, who I thought that we were going to trade, but no, we didn't do that, and we didn't give up any top 5 guys, so I'm really happy with that. And the fact that we get 3 lefties, all guys who are going to make an impact some way. Gallo's, I believe, still looking for his first Yankees hit. So, no, that's yeah, I think he's 0 for 6 so far with the Yankees. That's not fun, but still, once he gets to Yankee Stadium, he'll have a field day. Moving on, let's look here. Craig Kimbrell to the Chicago White Sox, just moving down to the south side of Chicago, along with Ryan Tepera, but that move was made a couple days before the deadline. But Kimbrell to the White Sox, teaming up with Liam Hendricks, who has been kind of inconsistent. He's blown a couple of saves in a row here and there, but he's been one of the better relievers in the game. But Craig Kimbrell, if the last time you remember Craig Kimbrell was a 6 ERA like last year in 2019, think again. He has been the best closer in the game, and out of all pitchers qualifying with 30 innings pitched, he leads the league in ERA. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. But the White Sox gave up a pretty penny for him. Gave up their second baseman, I want to say star already, Nick Madrigal, and Cody Hewer in the deal to Chicago. I was going to say to Chicago, but to the Cubs. I mean, you could say Chicago, but it's weird because it's also Chicago. You know what I'm trying to say here. They gave up Cody Hewer and Nick Madrigal to the Cubs in return for Craig Kimbrell. Just overall, I think the fact that he has an option for next year as well, Kimbrell, and if he can pitch how he is now, I think that'll be well worth it. I really like Nick Madrigal, a high contact guy. And so now that middle infield, you're going to have Nico Hornier at second, or you could put him at short. You put Nick Madrigal at second, or even at third, maybe. I think the Cubs might do that. And then you have Patrick Wisdom at third. Kyle Hendricks, locking down the rotation. And that's about all the Cubs I can name for. Oh, Ian Happ out in center. That's not bad. But it's still, for the Cubs and the Nationals, you're like, who's on this team anymore? Especially with the Nationals, you're having Gerardo Parra starting in center field. You're having Carter Kieboom is going to become an everyday player. It's weird, man. Like seeing all these players switch teams, especially from one team. It's weird. But yeah, Kimbrell, I really like the move for the White Sox from the Cubs. Overall, yes, the White Sox gave up Nick Madrigal, but if the White Sox want to go all in and they got Madrigal's replacement with Cesar Hernandez, if that's what they want to do and that's what they think can help them win a championship, I think just overall that'll be a good move for them. Moving on, I'm trying to think. Looks like 3 trades left. First one I'll start with is Javier Baez to the New York Mets for Pete Crow Armstrong, I believe is his name. What a name. But I personally think that Javier Baez is washed. Yeah, I said it. Mets fans, get mad. Yeah, I said it. Javier Baez is washed. He's not the player he was 3 years ago when he finished second in NL MVP voting. He is not that guy anymore. He's not the guy that is going to lead your team to a World Series championship like he did in 2016. And yes, I know the Mets gave up like nothing. They also got Trevor Williams in the deal, but still, Javier Baez doesn't walk. He strikes out. It's for Javier Baez. It's literally, so we all know that Joey Gallo is what they call a 3 true outcome player. You either walk, strike out, or hit a home run. Javier Baez either strikes out, or gets a hit. That's what it is. he doesn't walk. You can just take that walk element out. Like, there, you can find so many compilations on YouTube, just Javier Baez swinging at the worst pitches imaginable. I find those videos pretty funny, but it's just ridiculous that Mets fans think that, oh, all of a sudden just he's gonna come into the Mets and just, walk all of a sudden. No, he's not. He's not that player anymore. Yes, he's still super fun to watch on defense. Him and Francisco Lindor are going to turn double plays like no other. But here's the problem. Yes, they may be defensive wizards, but neither of them have hit all year this year. Neither of them have hit well since 2019. Baez had a horrible, and I mean horrible year last year, and has not looked like he's gotten any better this year. And Francisco Lindor admitted to just not even trying last year because he knew he wasn't going to play for the Indians past this year. And he also said that he stopped trying the second half of 2019. And so it's kind of like you think just all of a sudden your middle infield offense numbers are just gonna skyrocket? No, that's not gonna happen because Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor just have not hit this year. So whether that just takes a year getting used to their system or something like that, I don't know. But I don't think the Mets got any better offensively. If anything, they got worse. Because now you take your second baseman spot, which is Jonathan Villar, who's an alright plate discipline guy. Definitely better than Baez. I don't think you can get worse than Baez when it comes to that. But you take out Jonathan Villar, you plug in Baez, and boom, your strikeout numbers go from, I don't know, this is just completely arbitrary numbers. I have no clue what the Cubs team strikeout percentage is. But you go, let's say, from 25% to 27%. Javier Baez strikes out or gets a hit. Those are the only two outcomes that happen with Javier Baez, and it's pretty sad to see, really. A guy that used to be top 3 shortstop in the game. Some people still like to say he's top 3 if you do get wrong, but that's just my opinion. I know Mets fans are really happy. Carson's really happy about it. Francisco Lindor just went on a tangent on Twitter, something. So did Taijuan Walker. Just went on an absolute tangent on Twitter, apparently, according to sources, aka Carson. So, there's that. But the last two trades. First one I'm going to talk about here is Christopher Bryant. I don't even know. I don't think is his full name Christopher, because he spells it K-R-I-S, which would lead me to believe that his full name isn't Christopher. But it might be, just because everyone's name is Chris, their full name is Christopher. That's just how I don't know, man. The question of the day is Chris Bryant's full name Christopher? I don't know. That's just completely out of the blue. Completely random. I don't know where I came up with that. But Chris Bryant to the Giants for 2 mid-tier prospects, not named Joey Bart. And for the Giants, this is a win. It'd be like James Winston here. See, I know you guys can't see me right now, but I might throw a picture of it up at the screen. See this W right here? This is what the Giants are eating right here. A W. They trade 2 mid-tier prospects for one of the best third basemen in the league, and that's just the thing. He is not just a third baseman. He is a third baseman, a first baseman, a left fielder, a center fielder, a right fielder. He can play 5 out of 9 positions. He is like Chris Taylor. I'm trying to think of other super utility guys. Kike Hernandez. I hate to say this, Tyler Wade. That's the only people coming to mind right now. Just a lot better of a hitter. and the fact that Chris Bryant is going to go to a team that has a chance of making the World Series, has a serious chance of winning their division, is just so happy, because Chris Bryant has been one of the best players in the league for a while, and outside of 2016, he's had nothing to show for it. That's the year he won NL MVP. That's the year that the Cubs won the World Series. And the fact that that's his only, accomplishment year outside of, Gold Glove, Silver Sluggers, and all that, is kind of unfortunate. but he's going to the Giants where he's going to have a real chance to make it deep into the playoffs. And I really like the Giants this year with Gosman, Wood, trying to think, Desclafani, and on pitching, and then on offense you got Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, Mike Talkman, Mike Yastrzemski, and now Chris Bryant. You're gonna plug him straight into that number 3 hole in your lineup, and boom, your team has become a significantly better team than what it was before. Chris Bryant plays great defense in all 5 of those positions that I mentioned, all 3 outfield spots, and then the corner infield spots. And the fact that Chris Bryant is able to play that is just so valuable to a team. So I really like Chris Bryant to the Giants. I think out of everyone that was traded, I think he's going to have the biggest impact to a team. Need 2 guys. Now, moving on, 2 guys that might rival Chris Bryant's impact. Max Scherzer and Trey Turner in the same trade to the Dodgers. And, like, you think about the talent that the Dodgers got, and you're thinking, they didn't, like, honestly, like, I don't even know if you could say that the Nationals, like, won or the Dodgers won. Like, I don't know. I believe the 2, like, headliners were Josiah Gray and Keibert Ruiz, who everyone believes that those 2 are both going to be fantastic. Keibert Ruiz, a switch-hitting catcher, and then Josiah Gray, a right-handed pitcher. But the fact that you get Max Scherzer, who had the first best half of his career at age 36, just turned 37 last Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday. But not Chris Bryant, but Max Scherzer had the best first half of his career this year. Trey Turner, he's so fast, he's so good at hitting, and he's just one of those players you look out and you say, that man is good at baseball. Same with both of those guys. They're going to have such an impact, and the fact that, Kershaw's hurt right now, we know what's going on with Bauer, and really the only piece that you have in your rotation right now is Walker Buehler. So, say the Dodgers are completely healthy, and, and nothing was going on with Bauer. You go, what would your rotation even be, like, opening day, like, 1 through 5? Like Scherzer, Kershaw, Bauer, Buehler, Gonsolin? The fact that Walker Buehler is your 4th starter is absolutely absurd. The fact that any one of those 4 guys could be your number 4 starter is insane. You have 2 of the best pitchers of the past decade on your team, Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw, and then you have Walker Buehler, who's one of the best young pitchers in the game, and then you have Trevor Bauer, who, all legal issues aside, is one of the best pitchers in the game, just due to the fact that he knows what to do. He is a smart pitcher, maybe not off the field, but when it comes to baseball, he knows what to do. He knows his mechanics. He knows how to do everything that you can as a pitcher. And now, that's their rotation. Their bullpen has Kenley Jansen, Blake Trinan, I think Tommy Kahnle's with them. And then you look at the lineup, Chris Taylor, Cody Bellinger, Trey Turner, Corey Seager. Just listen to this. Like, I'm gonna go each spot. So, catcher, Will Smith. He's alright. I mean, I would probably say top 10, probably in the 6 or 7 range of catcher. Max Muncy at first. Corey Seager at short. Trey Turner at short. Corey Seager at second. Trey Turner at short. Justin Turner at third. Left field is either A.J. Pollock or Chris Taylor. Center field is Bellinger. Then right field is Mookie. Mookie Betts. How did I forget about him? This Dodgers team is insane. And the fact that the Giants are still leading this division, and then the fact that they just got Chris Bryant, I think the NL West is the most intriguing division. That's the division race I'm going to be watching the most down the stretch. So, and Max Scherzer and Trey Turner added to the Dodgers, Chris Bryant added to the Giants, and, like, I hate, like, this is insane to say. I think the Padres are out of this division. I don't think that the Padres can have a chance at winning this division. With the additions that the Dodgers and Giants made at the deadline. And yes, I know the Padres got Daniel Hudson, and I know they got Adam Frazier, but is that going to be enough to match Chris Bryant or Max Scherzer and Trey Turner? In my opinion, no. And the fact that Fernando Tatis Jr. just exited last night's game with a shoulder injury does not sound appealing to me as if I was a Padres fan. So, I think this is the Giants' division to lose still. I still think that they are I think they have to be top 3 team in baseball. Just they have the best record, one of the better offenses, one of the best pitching staffs, and then you have the Dodgers who just traded for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. So that division race is going to be the most interesting to me. So if you like this episode, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like what we're doing around here, sorry for the lack of uploads recently. At least from like June 18th till just this week. But if you like what we're doing around here, appreciate the subscribe button. NFL season is right around the corner, so get excited for that. And we will see